For those of you who missed last video, here is a recap of the first 5 of 10 fish in our top 10 beginner fish list. Generally good beginner fish, wait, I wrote this down, here we go. Gobies, cardinal fish, blennies, firefish, and clownfish, a maximum of 2. Fish number 1 is the Bangai or pajama cardinal fish. Fish number 2 are chromis, and honestly, I don't know why I put them on the list. Beginner fish number 3 is the ever popular clownfish. Beginner fish number 4 is the clown goby. Beginner fish number 5 are actually 2. We're gonna call it the flame hawkfish and the long nose hawkfish. Namaste part 2, everybody. Matthew here, your BRS beginner guru, coming at you with episode 31B in the beginner how-to guide for saltwater aquariums and reef tanks. Top 10 beginner fish. We've already done the first 5, so this video we are going to complete the list with the remaining 5. And be sure to stick around to the end because we have the 3 recommended stock lists for a 20-gallon, a 30-gallon, and a 40-gallon. All right, without any further ado, here comes fish number 6. Beginner fish number 6 is the orchid or purple dottyback. You got to be careful with these fish. Even though they're really small, they are semi-aggressive, and I have seen them go after fish a lot bigger in size. You just need to make sure you have enough space because they're just going to find a piece of rock work and they're going to call that home and they're going to defend it no matter how big the fish is. They also may eat small shrimp and bristleworms, so if those are things that you want, just take that in consideration. Number wise, I would just put 1 in a tank. I think it's risky to put more than that. Location, like I said, they're going to defend a certain area, but once they feel comfortable, they will swim all around your tank. I have a pseudochromis in this tank over here and he's out pretty much all day. Food wise, they are small, so make sure if you feed them pellets or frozen food that you have small pieces. They're carnivores, they'll go after pretty much anything. Captive bred, absolutely, there are captive bred options available. Beginner fish number 7 is a purple firefish or just a purple dartfish, or just go with your standard dartfish. Again, these have quite a few different names, so let me read them off. Firefish goby, fire goby, magnificent dartfish, fire dartfish, and then I also wrote the word decor right here. I'm pretty sure that's a typo. Temperament, they are really quite peaceful, but they can go after members of their own species, so only get 1 or 2 if they're a mated pair. Size-wise, they're a small fish. Yeah, they can get to 3 inches in length, but they're super skinny and super long. Location-wise, they like to live in the rockwork. They will come out once they feel comfortable, but like their name, dartfish, they will dart into crevices if they ever feel threatened. And they're also really well known to be jumpers, so you have to have a tight-fitting lid on top. I really love the personality of them. They will dart in and out of the rockwork, come out for feeding, but oftentimes once they feel comfortable, they'll swim around and they're kind of fun to watch, and they're really gorgeous fish. But because they are so small, have really small mouths, when you buy them from your local fish store or online, if they're really small, make sure you have pellets or frozen food that are really, really small in diameter. I also don't think there are any captive bred options at this time. Beginner fish number 8 is the Royal Gramma Basslet. The Royal Gramma Basslet is also known as the fairy basslet. Temperament, they are peaceful, unlike their doppelganger, the pseudochromis. Size-wise, when I see them at the local fish store, they're usually quite small, but they can grow up to 3 inches in length. I would only pick up 1 of these because they can be aggressive towards members of their own species. Location, just like your dartfish or your pseudochromis, they need a lot of live rock and crevices to hide in. They will come out when they feel comfortable though. Food-wise, just like the others, they have relatively small mouths, so make sure whatever you feed them is small. They are carnivores, but they'll pretty much go after any sort of frozen or prepared food. Captive bred, not really, but there are some options out there, so you might be able to find a few. Beginner fish option number 9. I know some of you are going to heartily disagree with this, but I'm going to put it on there because I've had such good luck. That is the Sixline wrasse. This wrasse also goes by the name the 6-stripe wrasse. Temperament, they are definitely semi-aggressive to outright aggressive. Depending on your tank, how much space there is, the other inhabitants, how much you feed, and the individual personality, this wrasse may not be a good option. I love my 6-line wrasse. I'm staring at it right now in my frag tank. Has one of the best personalities, if not the best personality. Will swim all around the tank in the currents, and he has really never gone after my other fish. But you are going to hear horror stories of 6-line wrasses bullying others. So you're going to have to watch it for sure, and I would add a 6-line wrasse last so that the other fish are able to find their space, and then the 6-line wrasse may not go after them as much. But if you put a 6-line wrasse in first, he might go after every freaking fish you put in because he thinks the whole tank is his. Location, he will go all over the tank. One of the best things I love about my 6-line wrasse is he likes to play in the currents of the wave makers. At nighttime, he will find a spot in the rockwork and create a mucus sac to sleep in. Food-wise, he is a fantastic member because he will go after all sorts of small crustaceans and flatworms that especially ride on with coral frags. My 6-line wrasse is not a picky eater at all, does have a small mouth. Make sure you have frozen or pellet foods that are small enough, but he will eat everything that I feed him. Captive bred options? I don't think so. And the 10th and final option I would recommend is a shrimp goby pistol shrimp pair. Again, there are a lot of different names because there are a lot of different species of shrimp gobies, but any of these will work. Shrimp goby, prawn goby, high fin goby, yasha goby, yellow watchman goby, orange stripe prawn goby. All of those are known to pair with pistol shrimps, which we often call snapping shrimp as well. Shrimp gobies are super high strung and they will bolt immediately, which makes them a really good pair for a somewhat blind pistol shrimp because when they dart back into their rock work, the pistol shrimp knows it's time to hide as well. You have larger species like the yellow watchman goby, which is 4 inches, and then smaller species like the yasha goby, which might get up to 3 inches in length. Numbers wise, I would only get one unless you can find a mated pair because they can become aggressive with members of their own species. Location wise, they are definitely a sandbed species. When paired with a pistol shrimp, they will share the same burrow, which is really fun to watch. Personality wise, you can get a shrimp goby without a pistol shrimp, but they are fantastic. But note, when I bought my first pair, I bought the wrong type of pistol shrimp. So you have to make sure, I wrote it down, you have to make sure that the pistol shrimp is from the genus Alpheus. So make sure it's from the Alpheus genus. There's different species, but get one from the Alpheus genus to make sure that it does pair up with the shrimp goby. Food, my pair will eat anything I feed them. They're carnivores, so feed them meaty pellets or meaty foods. Sometimes, as a special treat, I will put a really small piece of shrimp down right in front of the burrow, and the pistol shrimp will come out and grab it. Captive bred, most aren't, but there are some species out there like the yellow watchman goby that you can find captive bred. So let's go into my 3 suggested stock list: a 20-gallon tank, a 30-gallon tank, and a 40-gallon tank. Starting with the 20-gallon tank, here's what I would recommend: 1 to 2 clownfish, a purple firefish, a shrimp goby and pistol shrimp pair, and a royal Gramma basslet. I think this is a good mix because these fish will probably get along just fine and they occupy different parts of your tank. So you're going to see some in the water column, some in the rock work, and some down on the sand bed. Suggested stock list number 2 for a 30-gallon tank: 2 clownfish, 2 to 3 cardinal fish, a long-nosed hawkfish, an orchid dottyback, and a shrimp goby pistol shrimp. Now, we're pushing the limit of how many fish we can put in the tank, so you're definitely going to want to do a lot of water testing and up your filtration as necessary. But this is a really good mix of sizes, of colors, and of personalities and places they live in the tank. And last up for a 40-gallon tank, and that tank right there is a 40-gallon tank. Here's what I'd recommend: 2 clownfish, 3 to 5 small chromis, a 6-line wrasse, a royal Gramma basslet, flame hawkfish, yellow watchman goby and Alpheus pistol shrimp, a firefish or a dartfish, and a clown goby. That is a lot of fish. So if you are going to add those fish, you cannot add them all at once because it will overwhelm your biofiltration. So you have to add them slowly. You know, looking at that list right now, I'm actually thinking that might be too much. But I think if you did it right and you added these fish slowly and at the correct times, for example, leaving your 6-line wrasse till the very end, I think you could probably get away with it, but you're going to want to water test a lot and possibly up your filtration just to put up with the extra bioload. That took me way longer to film than I thought. My back hurts. Well, I hope you guys found that helpful. If you disagree, and I'm sure many of you do disagree, just put a comment down below and say which fish would you get rid of and what would you add in place. I watched so many videos on this topic, and these were just the ones that I thought made the most sense given my experience. But what is your experience? Well, that's it for episode 31. Coming up next episode, I didn't write it down, so I actually have no idea what's coming up next episode. So stay tuned, because you'll find out soon enough. Thanks for watching, everybody. Happy reefing. Be well. We'll see you next time.